All right, so today is our very first day back, technically, whatever that means. But it's been we took a long break because we had stuff, right?
Yeah.
Classes, we're moving, we're adjusting to online courses. So all of this stuff just kind of like put a halt to our project. So we didn't upload anything for the past couple months.
Yeah.
Right? So, but we're back at it again and we're quite excited.
Yeah.
So today's topic is
Zoom school, aka the university we're all attending but still paying for, as if we're an actual school.
Yeah.
Zoom University.
Exactly. Zoom University that costs $30,000.
$60,000 for out-of-state students and
see, even better. All right. So, I think majority of the people agree that Zoom classes aren't going as smoothly as one would hope, right? I think that's a fair assumption because most of just based off of what I've seen and what I've experienced, where it's like a lot of my classmates are struggling. They're not having, they feel like Zoom classes aren't delivering, just like what you said. It's like we're paying for online classes, but we're paying the full tuition. So basically a lot of students are saying they're paying so much for things that aren't working. So we're paying tens of thousands of dollars just to have below average lectures, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of brings it up into like why that is.
Yeah. So we want to talk a little bit about our experiences with university. Obviously, we have like a person, as in my brother, who goes to Cal State and me who goes to UC, and just the way that they kind of like took this on is very, very interesting because we, as in the UC system, already has hybrid classes, but Cal States have been like,
it's fully online.
Exactly.
Cal States has fully online, even for lab classes.
Yeah. And for us, it was kind of like there are some mandatory like in-person classes, but like not many. So right now, we still both have very similar experiences with like some of the like teachers. So I want to ask, like, what is the worst class you've had so far in Zoom University?
I think, okay, the worst class, it's worse than what you usually have in campus, because you have to understand there are also, I think you could agree with me, that there are professors that don't exactly teach even in a traditional classroom setting, right?
Yes.
They would be there to copy off the book. They would just copy line by line. For example, like math class, they wouldn't explain what each line means or why they got this answer. They would just copy the book and expect you, here, this is what you need to know. Then they give you a test 10 times harder because they have not explained anything.
Yeah.
Right? Zoom takes that to a whole different level because this professor literally said to us, first day of class, we will not be having any Zoom lectures except when I tell y'all to come on. Okay? So your resources are study groups. I'm going to create 4 study groups for every single person. And if you have any issues, feel free to message them. Where will I be? The professor. Where will I be? I will be on Zoom office hours. But I will not really help you because I'll just give you my PowerPoints that have literally no help. So it's like, how do you do this problem, 2 plus 2? Oh, here is the theory behind 2 plus 2. Okay, but how do you do it? Theory. And that's basically the entire class.
Interesting. So have you attended one of his office hours?
Well, no. Because that's literally what he does. So, and he doesn't even know how to use Zoom, so explaining one question takes 30 minutes. And all he has to do is open up his PowerPoint to show us.
Oh no.
So I'm like, I'd rather just learn on my own. And that's probably the worst class now.
Because this is a self-study class, right?
Yeah.
And this is an engineering course, like operative engineering course.
It's a intro course. That means everything after that requires that course. So it's like the fundamentals that you need to know.
Yeah.
It's like the foundation of a house, but right now you made your foundation out of plastic, right? Are you gonna put steel beams up on top of it that probably weighs 10,000 pounds? And you know how that's gonna go, right? Plastic foundation plus steel beams. That's basically how it's gonna go.
Dang.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's probably one of the like worst situations, right? Because you're paying for someone to tell you to look at a textbook.
Yeah. And they're not even helping. So it's like, it's very frustrating. You know, the school hasn't really done anything about it. I have reported it to professors, like, but again, nothing has been done.
Yeah.
And it's quite frustrating because we're paying a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So it's like, it's not, I don't think it's acceptable. It's really not. Right?
Yeah.
But that's, I would say, fortunately, that's like the only class out of the 5 that I have that is that bad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think you're taking 2 classes this
I
year?
am. So
right?
I am part-time student right now. Yes.
So how has that been? You have 2 classes. Has any of those been crazy out of the world, or has it just been better than what you expected?
Yeah. For me, I've honestly had a more positive experience like with the Zoom University and all. Most of my teachers have been grading very, very fairly, and they always offer like asynchronous options, as in like we don't have to attend the class and we can get engagement some other way, and they always record their lectures. So, and especially in UCSC, it's like what's it called, where every professor is required to offer async. Like they can be synchronous, but everything is going to be asynchronous. Yeah, so that has been it hasn't been too bad. And I think for me, that's why I was like, oh, I have enough privilege and I'm lucky enough that I have like working Wi-Fi and like microphone and webcam and all that ish most of the time. That it actually worked really well for me. So a lot of the classes that I had this like psych class, which it was literally everything was what's it called? Everything was recorded and put into the Canvas, which is our like online like classroom, right? Before, so then I can technically finish that class like really early on. Like all the material is basically already there, and if I wanted to, I could finish like what's due in November like right now. And for summer session, so like brief context, I had taken spring online, 2 summer sessions online for the entirety of 4 classes, and then I'm taking 2 more classes this quarter, right? So I've had my fair share of experiences, and surprisingly they've all been pretty good. Like they're really good at like they're really good actually about like making sure that like students are still engaged even if they weren't watching a lecture, by adding like, oh, just respond to these discussion questions, and or tracking the time that they use to like watch those videos like online, and then engaging in the Piazza. So I think the other issue of like, as in it's a good thing that happened, was I think I had relatively like younger professors that were good at like,
okay, that does help. That does help.
Also, I have psych too. Like it's like psych and like business. So I feel like people have been really like innovative on like how like things work. But then I think for like some folks, whether I don't know if it's like, you know, just like not a stereotype, like, but I feel like some folks have had like instructors had a harder time with like with the technology aspect of
especially
it.
the ones that are a lot older.
They
struggle a lot more because they're not familiar with what they're supposed to do.
So all in all, for me, it works really well because I can just watch my lectures, brain fart. I can watch my lectures whenever I want, and that's like what works with my schedule because I'm like working all the time, right? And I prefer to move my academics to whatever time I'm free outside of my work hours. So for me, it's great. But I think for some folks who like really need that like in-person engagement, find it really difficult to be motivated to work and like do school. Like for me, it really doesn't matter. Like I learn everything on the job maybe, or like I just skip all through the classes, and I'm basically also almost done with all my classes. Right now I'm just taking like fun things. But for other people who are like in the midst of like lab, or like they're studying to be pre-med, I feel like it's so hard to stay motivated.
It definitely is, because a lot of like, I think that was one of the main issues, since every week I have a meeting with a professor because I'm part of a program where he just checks up on us. I think there was, in my meeting group, there was 6 people. or I think 7. There were 3 people that did. They were new people. They were either freshmen or they transferred from a community college to my Cal State.
Yeah.
They have complained that they don't enjoy the online experience. Like, right? They like to be in the class. They like the traditional in-class setting. Right? Especially since engineering has lab classes where you have to be hands-on. Like, let's say if you're doing circuit boards or anything that's part of like electrical engineering, you want to be hands-on, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of the classes right now are switched to virtual, so we're using CAD software to do everything, but you don't actually get hands-on experience that a lot of people would want.
Yeah.
Right? And there are a lot of the people in the meeting were like, they're not enjoying the Zoom. They're not enjoying online.
Yeah.
And when they're asked the question, which I thought was really interesting, and the professor that asked us was really direct. But he is a lot, he's more understanding because he's a lot younger. He understands why we feel the way. He asked them, like, would you be considering coming back if we're all online? And 2 out of the 3 said no. Because they think, one, some of the professors aren't providing enough support, right? Like, I do want to say, like, there are a lot of professors that really care. I'm pretty sure the professor that isn't giving me lectures still probably really cares about us. But he's probably stuck, like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Which isn't exactly good,
Yeah.
right? Especially since it's your job, you have to figure it out. As much as, like, I don't want to say that, but a lot of students are struggling because of something you're not doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So it's like, I get why they would say they don't want to come back.
Yeah.
Because it's just hard. It's hard to learn.
Yeah.
Especially if there's students that are, lower income, they have to take loans, or they're working their butts off 40, 50 hours a week just to pay off the school to attend, and they're getting really, really bad lectures. It's like no one really wants to pay that much money for it.
Yeah, yeah. Also, that's the thing where I feel like it all comes down to the problem that school has always been so expensive, and like universities are losing profit, right, because of the fact that like housing was a main thing of like income for them and all of that. So then it's like right now I feel like often I feel that universities, like, even though professors may care, like university can try to care, but in the end they're also a business. Like universities are a business. So whenever I like really think about like these online classes, I'm like, the professors can try all they want, but in the end with like the fees and with everything, it's like it makes sense why they're pushing people to return to school, even in the fact that I don't really recommend that because of like just COVID.
And a lot of professors are over 70. Like, many of my professors are like hitting 80, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's tough.
Yeah. I feel like in 2020 I've like gotten to this like point where I'm like, there's so many like dead ends where I'm just like, there's literally almost like no way out besides like just sticking with this, right? Like, everyone can try to be like more understanding and more of all of that, but I think there's always some sort of quality that is obviously lost because of online school. The
whole situation. It is tough, and it's like on top of professors, not providing the the work and the lecture that they're kind of expected to do. Like, a lot of students expect like good lectures, or at least better than what we're getting now. And then on top of the fact that many of the professors' Wi-Fi's, I don't know if you experienced this. I had it. One of my classes, I switched it with a different class just so I could fit more things into my schedule. He would be lagging out every single couple minutes, and that also puts like the students would be so frustrated. Like, I understand, it's probably something the person cannot control. But again, on top of all the stuff that the students have to go through, like, they're paying, they have 6-7 classes, and if all of them are like that, they're gonna be frustrated. And if the school is not really helping or anything, it's like they're like, they don't have this, like, the students wouldn't have the trust in the school to provide what they need.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like that's just not good.
Yeah.
Right. And even there are many students that don't even have Wi-Fi. Like you said, it's like, what about the students that don't have Wi-Fi?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, how are they gonna learn? How are they gonna do anything?
Yeah. And also that's why I'm like, how do you expect students to do well when there's like no resources given? Like, I feel like slowly, I think like we'll also try to like share different resources for like where he can get like free like Wi-Fi, because I think there's been a couple like companies who have chosen to like be like, oh, if you're in need you can get a hotspot for your family and stuff like that. So there are certain like things where like people can get in touch with, but I think it's like it sucks that it's like people have to like continue to search for like options and then deal with this. And I think professors as well, it's like they're not, sometimes I don't think they're, a lot of times I don't think they're paid enough to like do all of this, right? So it's like, how is the school and the university supporting? And obviously I think this is a little off topic, but like I feel this is such like a whole umbrella of like issues that have just always been there that is just like extra prominent now that we are all online and everyone's like, there's so many issues that are continuing to pop up because universities aren't, I don't know, I just feel like maybe an administration needs to do a better job.
Yeah, I really think they do. Yeah. That's like, I want to say my school's admins are doing a fairly good job, because a lot of professors do care. They're all providing it. They're all trying, right? Yeah. Just like some of the people. But then again, it's like, I'm not in the shoes of other people. I'm not in like, let's say, the more expensive colleges. Like, I don't know, or like the different colleges. I'm not there, so I don't really know how their experience is. Yeah. So it's like, but you see on the news, it's like these persons are struggling. You see online where it's like people are complaining, where they're saying, oh, I don't like this. Zoom classes are terrible. Yeah. Online classes are terrible. And there's like no solutions figured out. Yeah. So I guess my question would be like, what solutions do you think could help? Like, what alternatives? Yeah. Right. Yeah. I guess for, let's say, let's just say like the general thing where it's like, okay, hybrid classes have been talked about. I think you mentioned that your college has been offering hybrid classes. Yeah,
UCSC has hybrid
classes. So like, how are those?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not part of them. I haven't been part of one. Have you heard about anything? I think it probably has been a little bit difficult, to be honest, because not only do they have to record and interact with the people online, but they also have to interact with the people in the hybrid classes, right? So I'm not exactly sure how it's going, but I guess that's why they're testing it. I feel like the issue right now is that everyone is in this similar position of like, we have no idea what's going on. Yeah. Right? Like, we just had a recent like virtual career fair. Not a career fair. It was just a virtual fair to like meet different like campus organizations and stuff like that. And I think everyone's just testing things out, which is why I feel like I don't think there's one solution to this. I think it just requires that people continue to be innovative and continue to want to care to provide the best experience for the students that are paying for all of this stuff.
Yeah, I do agree. Yeah. So it's like, I guess now until next year, like this whole 2020, 2021 year is just testing stuff. And we get to see how well each school manages that. Yeah. Because as of now, it's like, my school, I'm hearing more, a lot of the students, I'm hearing more complaints than like positive feedback. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And I don't want to discredit some of the professors, because I feel like they do care. Yeah. But just the students are also struggling a lot because they have to deal with more classes, right? Yeah. Like multiple different classes. Probably each different class has different issues.
Yeah, exactly. But
like, we just have to see if the school actually helps out. Like, like my classes are gonna file a complaint about our teacher, our professor. So let's see if that gets fixed. Then we could be like, okay, we could have a little bit more trust in our school's admin. But if they don't, I really don't know what to do, because
Yeah.
Our tuition isn't super incredibly expensive, but
Yeah.
it's still $4,000, $3,000. That's still a lot. That's like $6,000 every year.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah. I think at the moment, I just think transparency is key. It's like, even though you don't know if the professors are just open about like where they're at, I think we can all work together. Because honestly, so many more students have already gotten a hang of Zoom before the professors, and if that is something that is happening, then we should rely on each other's help to help each other, right? Like, because then equally everyone is learning from each other in school. So I really think at this point, it's like, how do we work together? And also, how do we support the people who are hit the hardest by all of this stuff, which is like Black and Indigenous people of color and people of low like socioeconomic status. So yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah,
it's frustrating.
Zoom is, I don't know, Zoom. I'm glad it's something different. We don't have to risk our lives for school. But then again, it's like, there's always going to be problems, and there's always going to be things that we have to overcome.
Exactly. Especially the finances part.
Yeah. It's like, maybe if Zoom is giving us so much issue, maybe, give some money back to the students.
Yeah. Like, that's why at first, like, a part of this is also the government stuff, right? And as much as I don't want, like, I think it's really important to recognize that politics runs through everything. So, like, this is, like, random in their podcast, but please make sure to vote.
Yeah.
Like, please vote. Please vote so that, even though the options aren't great, either options, like, vote in your local, like, community, in your local government, so that
you can get what you want.
Yeah, and you can help the people around you. So please vote. There's a lot of this, the federal, the bills that are coming out to like the stipends and the funds that allow people to keep surviving and have a roof over their heads, and all of that comes from the government most of the time. And if those bills aren't passed because people that have a lot of privilege like don't know, like, we need to get onto that. Yeah. Anyway, so, I'll get off my soapbox.
Well, I guess hopefully we give some insight, understanding, like, since we both are students, we just wanted to like give our perspectives and our thoughts on the whole online, because a lot of people have been complaining, and like we understand the struggle, so we just want to throw some perspective out there, so hopefully everyone has like a different perspective, because everyone's trying, everything is, nothing's certain right now. So hopefully everyone stays, how'd you say it? Healthy? Empathetic.
Yeah.
Sympathetic.
Empathetic.
And sympathetic to everyone around you. Be caring.
Yeah. Be kind.
Just, So.
Yeah. And if you ever have anything, as always, like, you have perspectives to share, resources to share, we would love to hear about them, and we would love to, like, continue to, build this family that cares about the people around them.
Yeah. So, follow us on the social media. We're going to have some new stuff. We're going to start posting.
Yes.
More consistently.
Yes.
So, follow us there. See what's up, and we're going to be hoping we can continue this and offer or like provide good content.
Yeah. Alrighty. See you next time.